Welcome back to Samoyed Studios. Today I took on the challenge to crochet Elsa the Samoyed. First, let's observe Espen's reaction to her sister's crochet twin. Oh, I'm Elsa. Come play with me. Don't bite me, I'm your sister. Stay tuned to see the rest of their interactions. Here's the blueprint. If you need it, please make sure to pause the video. To get started with the body, you're going to make a magic ring, chain 1, and then add 6 single crochet. When you have finished your last single crochet, you're going to pull on the string at the end, which will tighten the loop. And then to make a circular shape, you're going to slip stitch the ends together, and that will conjoin the circle. Then you will chain 2, and for your second row, you're going to increase each stitch. So you're going to add 2 half double crochets to each stitch. I'm going to fast forward this step as it's the same process, just adding 2 half double crochets to each stitch. The next 3 rows focus on making the structure larger, so you're adding increases between alternations of half double crochets. So for row 3, you're half double crocheting, then you're increasing in that second stitch, again adding 2 half double crochets to stitch 2 until you reach 18. For row 4, you're doing half double crochet in the first stitch, half double crochet in the second stitch, and then you're increasing in that third stitch, and then you'll repeat that pattern until you reach 24 stitches. For the 5th row, you're half double crocheting in the next 3 stitches, and then in that 4th stitch you would increase or add 2 half double crochets until you reach 30 stitches. Honestly, you could increase more if you want a larger shape, but I was happy with my structure, so I ended up half double crocheting across for the next 2 rows. So I started by chaining 2 first, and in each stitch I added 1 half double crochet. Row 8 is where I added the 2 legs, and I did that by adding a modified puff stitch. So what I did was I chained 2 first, and then I half double crocheted across until I reached stitch 19. Since I had 30 stitches, I found that stitch 19 and stitch 26 would be the perfect spot to add the puff stitch to give it that effect of having legs. So when I reached my 19th stitch here, I yarned over, looped through, yarned over, looped through, yarned over, looped through, yarned over, looped through, so 4 times, and then I pulled the yarn through all of those loops. Afterwards, I half double crocheted into the next stitch. Then I just half double crocheted until I reached stitch 26. And on stitch 26, I repeated that same process of yarning over and looping through 4 times, and then ending with the half double crochet on the next stitch. I wanted to show you the legs here, and as you can see, that puff stitch gave it that leg effect. So then you're gonna close off. For the next 2 rows, I did that same process as before by chaining 2 and half double crocheting across each stitch, so having 30 stitches total. And then I wanted to start closing up the shape, so for rows 11 and 12, I started decreasing. I did 3 half double crochets, then I decreased by skipping the 4th stitch, and then I repeated that process in row 11. For row 12, I did 2 half double crochets and then skipped that 3rd stitch and went on to half double crochet the 4th stitch, and I repeated as well. As you can see, the shape is now starting to close. Before you close it completely, make sure to fill it in with some stuffing. However, don't make the same mistake as I did by overstuffing it. Then in the next 2 rows, you're going to close up your shape completely. So for row 13, I did 1/2 double crochet decrease, and then for row 14, I just decreased until it closed up. To clean up the end of the yarns, I just use my needle to poke it through the inside. The next 2 steps are for making the ears and the tail, and here's the blueprint for that. For the ears, you're going to repeat the step twice. So I started by marking where I wanted the ears, then I looped the yarn through that area, and then I chained 1. In that next adjacent stitch, I added a single crochet first, then I added a 1/2 double crochet, then I double crocheted, then I 1/2 double crochet to start decreasing the size, then I added a single crochet, and then I slip stitched on the next stitch, and then I closed off. And then as you can see, it created this structure like so. You're going to repeat that same process after cleaning up the yarn as well. Ta-da! It's starting to look like Elsa, and now the last part is her tail. So for the tail, I started with the magic ring. I chained 1, and then I added 4 single crochets into the magic ring. This process is similar as before, so pull the ends and then you're going to slip stitch the ends together. After that, you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to increase in each stitch. So 4 times 2 will be 8. You should have 8 stitches total. Since this process is pretty similar, I'm going to fast forward, but for rows 3 and 4, you're going to chain 1 and you're going to single crochet 8 times, and this will help build the length of the tail. After you finish that last row, you're going to attach your tail onto the body. So I used the remaining string to sew it on, and then I cleaned up the yarn as well by doing that same method of poking it into the body. Although it is starting to look like Elsa, we do need to add the final touches of the eyes, nose, and mouth. So I used black yarn to make the shapes like so. Honestly, I'm not sure how to describe this, but you're trying to make a line shape for the eyes, and then the more loops you do, it will create a thicker eye shape. Just as some words of advice, just be careful where you poke back the black yarn on the back of the body, because you want to poke it to the same place. That way it doesn't create a knot on the back. If it does happen, you can just cut the black yarn and then start over. I'm sure you could do this process better, but I honestly was happy at this point, so I just made a knot and then I poked the black yarn through like so. For the nose, I did the same process. I made a line going horizontal, and then I made a few loops to thicken the nose, and then I made a line going vertical to make kind of the mouth shape, like so. I ended up going back in with some pink yarn to make cheeks, but I followed that same process if you want to add it as well. Hooray, it's finished! As you can see though, Elsa was just not having it. In continuation from the beginning, Espen demanded her sister back, and she did not like the twin. When the real Elsa showed up next to her, she gave Elsa lots of kisses and even defended her from the imposter. Elsa even defended her name by going pow pow. Thank you again for watching us today, and I hope you join us on our next video.